on our way to turn 1. Brake marker is, it depends on the car really, but it's in between the first and the last and the second to last boards right here. Me
All right.
personally, I kind of like, I'm in the middle or closer to this last one, and then you're on the brakes pretty briefly, and I don't trail brake in, because I find that this turn doesn't have any camber, so like if you're trail braking in and you have too much weight on the front, not enough on the rear, then the rear kind of just kicks out. But I don't that could just be for the Porsche. Like Colin was saying earlier, he has understeer on entry, I think. So, but anyways, so coming into the turn, you don't want to hug it too tight. There's 2 apexes on this turn, so you don't want to hug it too tight on entry. But I think you wanna hit the second apex dead on, and it's gonna be right here. Um, Again, you don't want to hug it too tight, but this is the apex you're gonna want to hit, because if you hug it too tight and you go into this dip right here, it's like a freaking ski ramp, and you're gonna send yourself to the shadow realm pretty quick. Um, but yeah, so I'm probably come in come in a little away from the curb, away from the first apex, nail the second apex, and I'm on the throttle like well before I hit this point. Um, and then you run out. Try not to run out too wide here because the curb is short, and you're gonna find the grass pretty quick and lose a little bit of time. In general, the curbs here are dog shit. Excuse my French, but they're pretty bad, and in my opinion, it's an easy way to lose time. Um, but if you gotta use it, you gotta use it. Um, Coming up to turn 2, your brake marker would be the second board on the left here, but it's gone. Somebody knocked it out, which is fine. If that happens, you can use the orange square on the wall on the right. It's pretty much in the same spot.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so that's good to know. I'm pretty sure they're dead even. Um, So you're braking hard all the way. You keep it wide and shift down to first or second. It really depends on the car. I think in the Porsche, I'm down to second. First, if I brake a little too late and I need to slow down a little bit more. But it's a late apex, so you kind of go a little deep in and you hit the apex about right here. And then you have this curb right here, which again is really, really rough. So don't use a lot of it if you don't have to. Um, and then power down to turn 3. Brake marker can be is like just before these boards, and it's super, super brief. It's like, yeah, I don't want to say brush. It's a little more than a brush, but it is brief. And you turn in, you ride the curb all the way around pretty much. But you got to be super, super patient because it's a longer corner. And if you get on the throttle too early and run wide here, this is like, in my opinion, this is like number 1 place to lose, or to get a track cut. It's just automatic.
When do
Um,
you start putting down the power?
you can start mid corner right on that one.
Okay.
Let me let's see.
You might get disqualified if you try to go back.
Probably.
It's alright, I got it.
I gotta take TC off. I'll show you later.
Okay.
It is really a waiting game though. You gotta be super, super careful with that. Um, And then all the way down, I forget what turn number we're at. Is this 4? Um, Brake marker is anywhere in between the second board right here. Or sorry, this board with two lines on it, and the next board. So this whole zone, I would say don't get too close to this next board. Um, but bring it down all the way to first and come out wide here, because this is another hairpin and you want to hit a late apex. Maybe not as wide as I'm right now. But the apex is about right here. Again, not too early on the throttle because this is another place to get a track cut. On the way to 5 or 6, brake marker is like, if you draw a line in between these two boards, you could brush the brakes there. I'm a little more comfortable with going a little earlier than that, and then dropping a gear if you have to get the rotation. If you can already get the rotation without dropping a gear, that's fine, just leave it. And then you can use all this curb right here, but you can get on the power like right on the apex pretty early. This is probably the bumpiest curb on the track in my opinion, so try not to use it, but like I said, if you get on the power early and you have to use it, then you got to do what you got to do. The next brake marker for the next turn is right at the boards. That's like every car, I think. You drop it down to first or second, and then use as much as the inside curb as you can. And you got to keep it tight through here. Oh shit! Let me move out of the way real quick. You got to keep it tight through this section because the road kind of narrows up a little bit. And if you run wide, then there's nothing but grass out here. So when you go through that turn, I don't want to say be patient because you use your throttle a little bit to help you get rotated, but you do have to make sure you're not going to run wide into the grass here. Actually, when you do it, you'd probably run out further, like out here. But assuming you kept it tight on the track, like keep it in the middle when you're coming out of that last turn, and then you run out here to this side, your brake marker is going to be the end of the green curb right here. And this is just a brush of the brakes. I take this one in, I think third. Yeah, I'm in third here. So I just brush the brakes. Don't, it's a late apex, so don't get too far inside too early. Again, patience on this turn, and you hit the power like right here in my opinion. You could do it earlier if you get better rotation, but then you run out. Try not, this is an easy place for your rear end to kick out, so try not to slide out too much. And then yeah, another rough curb. Don't use it if you don't have to. And then we'll power down all the way all the way down the straight. Alright. Pretty much every car, I think, brakes at this board, this second to last board right here. This is really tricky. It kind of takes some finesse. But you're either in 5th or 6th gear once you hit this point. You slam on the brakes hard, and you point the car at the inside curb right here, and you're probably going to shift down to about 2nd or 3rd by the time you get here. And at this point, you let off the brakes, because if you're still on them and you have too much weight on the front, the back is going to kick out, and you're going to meet God and this wall on the left like sooner than you intended. So yeah, you brake hard to 2nd or 3rd till you get about right here. You ease off the brakes, and then once you get it straightened out and kind of the weight stops shifting so much, you get back hard on the brakes again. Keep it wide. Drop it to 1st if you are carrying too much speed here, and then turn in. Don't hit the sausage curb, because this is that's a ramp pretty much. And then careful here, because again the road's changing a little bit, the elevation, so the rear wants to kick out. So easy on the throttle, make sure it's super smooth here. Don't use the runoff if you don't have to. And then you power down to this turn. No braking here, just a lift to go into this dip. It's hard to tell the turn-in point, but I like to think like the Pirelli sign on the right marks. Well, you can see it's kind of just after the apex, but that's kind of, I like to look at that for a reference turn-in point. You're not gonna lose a whole lot of time if you miss this apex, but it is kind of nice to use just because it dips and it's, it's camber. It helps you turn. So so yeah, you lift through here a little bit. You don't have to lift all the way, but it depends. how understeer your car is. Lift, and then once you come out of it, and you can get on the power without running off the left side of the road. You get back on the power. And this is the curve he was asking about. This is a super, super long right-hander. I think it goes 180 around. But basically, it's a double apex. So what you're gonna want to do is hit the early one, and then you're gonna start running a little bit wide. So you actually, oh shit, sorry, Colin.
You're fine.
So you run a little wide, and this is about the middle of the turn. And this is easier on your tires too, but it also makes the last turn a lot nicer because you run wide, and then it gives you the chance to run back inside a little bit easier. And this third set of orange, not cones, but poles.
Bollards?
Yeah, bollards are this third one from last is your breaking point.
What if it's gone?
If it's gone, God help you.
Okay.
Right. That's a good point.
I can
That goes
barely
for
see that.
most brake markers on British tracks, I think. But yeah, so you're pointed straight towards the right side of the road here. Not at the apex like that, but towards the right side of the road. And then once you get the car straightened out and you pass those third bollards from the end, you brake hard straight so that you have enough room to turn in here. And you can use a little bit of you can brush the sausage curb on the left side. It won't punish you as much as that last one. But yeah, easy on the throttle through here so you don't run too wide, because these curbs, man, they're not only are they bumpy, but they're all short. They just don't last. And so it's an easy way to get onto the grass. So yeah. And then I guess if you're pitting, I believe, since you really don't have that much speed to begin with, I think once you enter, you can just I think you can use this first a little bit right here, where the red and white stripes start, as a braking point, and then you kind of just have to mind the kink in the pit lane right here. Yeah, that'll probably work. I haven't experimented with that though.